And welcome to the early. This is the second time that Rosie has given me the mic. She didn't work the first time, and then she put me in 7:45. So she has no idea what questions I'm going to ask. Neither does the panel. And neither do I. So one of the things that I wanted to accomplish is to allow not only my fellow American Indians up here to say things about sovereignty and collaboration and that actually the meaning of sovereignty, but also for them to share with you some of the success stories, perhaps even some of the ones that aren't so successful as well. So I'm really going to go down the line. Hopefully they will know to self-introduce, and if they don't, I'll interrupt them and ask them to do so. And the way that we usually start things around here, at least in our communities, is we start with the youngest member of the panel and work our way to the more experienced member of the panel. But Arnie said that he does not like going last. So it's between T and John, right? Luckily, my chair is very, very young. I don't get myself into trouble any more than I'm getting with it right now. So I would first like to introduce the rest of this group. We'll explain what his position is there. But he and I met just a couple of weeks ago on technologies that gap access to technology, even in communities that are relatively close to the communities. Talk about spectrum wireless, wildfire, shade alert. Some of the things that our communities in Oregon have been talking about for quite some time, but these are just now Chris, can you tell me what is going on as far as technology and the things that are coming out? Can you tell me what they're into the different
Absolutely. As Jason mentioned, so my name is Chris Mercier. I'm the Vice Chair for the Confederated Tribes of Ronde. I'm actually a lot older than I look. Not really. Actually, I was 29 when I got elected, and I will caution you, I am presently in law school, so if I give an answer that sounds like a law student, I apologize. It's how I've been programmed to talk very often. But I'm going into my 14th year on traffic council. This is my third year as the vice chair, and I should point out I am an alumni of the University of Oregon. So I get to work with Jason because I sit on the Native American Advisory Council there at the university. And I'll tell you that one of the challenges that we face in Grand Ronde, and it's not just Grand Ronde, it's Indian country as a whole, is there's very limited internet access. And I'm not talking about any internet access, I'm talking about broadband speeds. And we have a tribal community where a lot of people, their only internet access is their phone. We have a lot of people in our tribal community who they go and hang out by our tribal administration buildings, by like our food bank, by our museum, Chichalu, because that's the only way that they can get internet access. And internet access, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people share this sentiment, is becoming just like electricity, it's becoming like water, it's becoming a daily feature of life in the United States. And tribal communities are among the communities that have the least amount of internet access, particularly broadband speeds, because they are quite often in very remote areas. And so one of the things that Ronde has contemplated doing, and initially it stalled out a couple of years ago, is laying fiber into a lot of like the tribal homes that we have there in the community, and maybe even considering operating into outlying areas of the community, including the non-tribal community, because we just believe that, for one, it's internet access and broadband speeds are going to be something that everyone needs. A lot of people, myself included, are cutting the cable, so that means I no longer have cable TV. I have the smart TV, and I stream, and that's how I do it. And when I live in tribal housing, I have a number of friends, and the internet is so bad there that if you have more than one device accessing your wireless signal, everything, you get that very annoying thing that appears in the middle of the screen and starts to bog down. So we do believe that tribal communities are a little bit behind when it comes to internet access. And as we look at bringing more classes remotely from different colleges and universities, the ability to broadcast and live stream classes. We also live stream our general council meetings and our tribal council meetings. It's just very important, and that's something that in Ronde we want to work into bringing, not just to the tribal community, but to the surrounding community as well, because we just believe that if you want to be serious and attract business to your communities, it's one of those things you just have to have.
Thank you, Chris. That answer isn't correct. The next person I'd like to ask a question is my chair, Brenda. We have many stories actually about the great times where people who had not prepared themselves for that catastrophic event did not go from their or if you can't make it to high points in certain areas all of these are place-based knowledge that we can use to help prepare us for places that are when I say knowledge, I don't necessarily hours get ready to
Well, ladies, greetings, friends, and I live in Meade, and I'm the chairperson for Coquille. And it is an honor to be here with you all today. It's amazing panel that is today. Sitting here with leaders of very good day. Get together and talk important things. It's also a good day that we're all here talking about about rural Oregon, about those things that all of us. I promise I when I saw him sitting over there with his red pen and his book, I knew he was going to come up with some questions, and he did. That's a good question, and I'll get back to it. I appreciate that tribal council and the group today. Tribal leaders, elected tribal leaders, not only Coquille Tribal Council, but other tribal councils throughout time. Please stand up and be recognized. For the Coquille tribe, we just celebrated our 30th year as a restored tribe in Oregon. We were the last tribe in Oregon to be restored for us as a state. creates confusion as it tries to recognize liberty and their sovereignty. It is also something to think about just the impacts. Talking about the same things that we as people talk about, housing, education, healthcare, elder care. That was the drive to take care of our people. And it shows that education programs are successful. So now I'm leading our classroom. I would also say we are agency directors are thinking about that piece power that is housing. It's 20% housing. We know there's a real housing crisis. If we were just to look at that one piece, how do we collaborate? We have cities, we have states. We all need to be working together as the tribes that are largest you might all start thinking and you go to that casino place. Casinos are kind of cool, right? A lot of rewarding work and good benefits, good pay, and it's not just that. The tribe's infrastructure is similar to city working. All the little pieces of the pie put together as a city, the tribes are also doing. Keep in mind, we're not staffed up to support the state of Oregon. We're staffed up to support our tribes. But we have resources, we have infrastructure, we have capability, we have expertise, and we shall. You mentioned emergency management, planning, practicing emergency management, private member, really guiding our efforts and thinking about what happens when we need support. It's not just necessarily the big thing. It could happen in my lifetime, it could happen in my children's lifetime. What we have to do is just prepare for how to take care of it. And it's not necessarily for what, it's just about what are people going to do with the infrastructure now. We both terrible smoke together. Collaborate.
Thank you, Brenda. She is the longest chair in the United States. Plus, now, quite some time, but Chairperson has been a household name in private government, and she has seen the wisdom that she carries with her, and also the style of leadership is really all the way across the state and the region. So this is the question that I have for you. You are sovereign and sovereign in many ways is because not a lot of people will know what sovereign means, what would you like to know about sovereignty? What is the definition
Okay, thank you for the question. My name is Dolores Coquille. I go by Meade. We do have Chairperson here. Larry Eagle, and our general manager, Brenda, from Mercier. And we're a tribe on the Oregon coast. We have about 5,500 members. We've grown tremendously in enrollment in the past 4 years. Explaining sovereignty is easy. Sovereignty to us is being able to govern ourselves, to levy taxes, as other governments do, to protect our well-being. You can't be sued in court if you are a sovereign unless you give up, waive your sovereignty for any purpose. That happens when we enter into contracts, big contracts. So we generally have to waive our sovereignty just to the extent that in the amount of whatever contract that is in the works. And it happens a lot with the tribe and with the casino. But as a sovereign government, we're there just like Oregon and just like the United States. We're there to protect our people, protect our borders and the lives of the people, and live by our tribal constitution, which we adopted in 1980. We were restored in 1977, and working through the federal government, we drafted a constitution, and it was adopted by our tribal members in 1980. We've amended it a couple times, and as most of you know, amending or changing constitutions isn't easy. In fact, it's one of the most difficult things. And so, having said that, we go by our tribal ordinances. We've adopted many ordinances for all the programs that we have. And among those very important ones is our natural resources, our health, and our education. And yesterday's presentation really was helpful in listening to the educators. Our education is one of our top priorities, and because we can, we send anyone who wants to go to college, we pay for their college work. We're able to do that because of the revenue that we have from the casino. We would not be able to do that actually without that revenue. So education is important to us. Health is right second in line. health has everything to do with the air that we breathe, and the smoke is a factor with what we eat, and we're looking at gathering the roots in some of our foods that we lived by for centuries, the clams on the coast, and that's been affected by the climate and the water that we drink. When you go in Siletz, the water is not good. It has lots of algae, and I live in Salem, and so last year, Salem was put on a list for not having very bad water, had to buy water for about a week. So it's important, probably one of the most important factors to us is having clean water, clean air, and food that isn't contaminated. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's sovereign government. Better than Brenda. Thank you.
This is so much fun. Doc is a long time resident of Houston. And that's where
Thank you. I'm Doc Slider, tribal chair of the Keystone LCIS, and we have Mark Petrie, our vice chair, and Deb Barrett, and our chief Warren Brain Factor. You can stand, please. A little bit of tribal history, like all these tribal history. We signed a treaty in 1855, and we see that at one point our tribe owns over 1.6 million. And we went along, and in 1954, the federal government came around and terminated it. In 1984, we got that restoration, and I was on the Free Council and was the chairman at the beginning of '84. And what happens, my reading, and I had a lawyer next to me, my understanding of everything is, the federal government has a trust responsibility because we are a sovereign nation. If you draw a pyramid, at the top of that pyramid is going to be the federal government. Right down below that federal government is going to be the sovereign nations, the 9 sovereign nations here in the state of Oregon. Right across from this is going to be the state of Oregon. Down below that is going to be the counties, the cities, the fire departments, the school districts, and airport districts. That trust responsibility definitely goes to the federal government. It also goes to the state and everybody else that's involved in that process. That's definitely our tribe. He brought up that water quality that she ran into, that green algae. In Coos County, we have a lakeside here about a month and a half ago, probably a little early. As far as I'm concerned, green algae came up. There was no green algae when I was a kid. What's going on? What are we doing? That's one of the things that the first thing yesterday morning, I was talking to Arnie, and I ran into a young lady, and I had her card. and I'm hoping they're going to have that conversation with us. How can we all get together? The city of Lakeside, Coos County, the state of Oregon, and figure out what's going on. After that article came out, I saw in the news, maybe many of you saw that I think it was in Florida, there were some dogs in the lake, and 4 of them died. That's that first sign. It's those responsibilities as you see something going wrong. We don't want it to get to us. We don't want it to get to the tribal community. And what's good for the tribal community, or what's good for that the state does, is usually good for the tribal community. We're all in that same community, and we've all got to work together. One of the big things on the George Boat project, this tribe has been not for or against it, we've been neutral to that. And we're trying to protect our natural and cultural resources in that process. That's a really hard thing to do. You just want to try to make sure that you can get as much protection as possible. One of the questions that I asked the state of Oregon was, is there going to be a bomb posted? If something goes wrong, who's going to be responsible for it? As everybody's aware of in the United States, there's a lot of negativity and a mining company that moves out, and there needs to be cleanup. Who pays for that cleanup? Those are the questions that we're asking. It's a 35-year project, the George Boat project, and when they leave, who's going to clean up that? Is that going to be the taxpayers? Is that going to be you sitting out there in the morning? Those are questions that we want to try to get answered. No matter, many years ago, I came from a tribal meeting, and that weekend I was talking to my dad, and I was telling him about a tribal who had this suggestion. And I said, I wasn't really for it. My dad told me, he says, you need to make a list. What's positive and what's negative? And you need to take a look at that. Is that really going to help the tribal community? And if you really think it truly is, you work on those negative things to try to make that a positive. There's always going to be negative things in the world, and to work through those is what it takes. If you see a problem with whatever the project is, and you see a problem, try to go to people, and talk to them. Talk to them and see if you can get it taken care of. It's not an easy thing to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. The last question you go to your responding was, first of all, this, you have been,
It really has been a privilege to be involved with the tribes in my district since these 4 are all in my district. More than that, when I first got into the House, I was so asked if I wanted to be on the Legislative Commission for Indian Services, which I did not know I was happy to join. And actually, when I became a senator, there was 1 member from the House and 1 member from the Senate on my committee. And that meant that whoever was in charge in power got Democrat or Republican. And a couple of us decided that really isn't the best way to do it. So when I went to the Senate, we changed that with 2 members from each party. This should be a are now 4 legislatures now. And I think that's worked out really well because, like the postal guys, those 4 of us get together and things come out of that meeting. If I the legislature together, we have inroads into every part of the legislature and make sure those things. So, as a high school principal at Mercier High School, when I first came to Mercier, I grew up in Atlantic, Washington. We have 3 or 4 tribes out on the Big Peninsula. Most of them I have family members in 2 of the tribes, Dale Lodge, Jamestown, and so understood that. And before that, over 100 years ago, my grandmother was a normal school teacher in Washington, and her first job there was actually we found a lot of her students on the internet. Internet was an amazing thing. Because we had stories all our lives that, because as soon as she got married, she couldn't be a teacher. Married women did not be teachers. And so her dad would drive her down to the beach out of Aberdeen, where she grew up. And then a tribal member would come down on the coast, pick her up, and they would walk out the coast until they got to the Freeze River. And then a canoe would be there, and they would canoe her up to a white settlement on the Queens. She taught school all there. And in the summer, Dad would meet her back at the beach. My dad had a reverence for Native Americans. His whole life worked with farmers and because he was a woodworker in Harvard, and they would get artifacts and they would say, how did you do this? And that's what he loved. And so he would try to make tools and do stuff. He trained with all of us in the family. But these are amazing people who did amazing things, especially woodworking and art. It's just, I can't understand what they didn't have in order to try to do what they did. The fact that when you get really good artifacts, generally speaking, good things of plastic because they were best. So you can learn a lot from them. I felt privileged to go on LCIS because I really wanted to get to know these artists. Because they have an important part of my life. So I had a lot of good friends who were leaders of this. It's been really, really so one of the first big bills I did when I got involved with politics had to do with private things. Right now, all of these guys, all parties are in peace officers who have the same rights on the roads as many other states and communities, because there were agreements with the tribes. They could leave their reservation and go arrest people. Turn them into outside. They work together. That wasn't true before, and with some of the non-restored tribes in the eastern area, they didn't really want to make to allow other police officers there. So it was a big conversation statewide. One of the tipping points that happened right here was interesting. There was a tribal police officer. The Confederate tribes have places here and Tuesday along the way, right? So there was a tribal police officer that had been on alert for dangerous and he was driving out of Florence to Tuesday when he saw this. And all of a sudden he realized, I'm not driving. I call the Florence police. I'm going to try to keep watch on the guy. I can't arrest him. And the bridge had gone up and he was driving it out. So eventually, the Florence police came. They worked it out. They went down to the this guy and arrested him. And they both and said, this is an amateur. And I could have just arrested him instead of that. Bring all this other witnesses. And so that rose to a bill was to pass acknowledge the work that the tribes are doing along with the work that our state police are doing. And I think it was a really collaborative effort and a model where we was working with everyone to try to figure out how do we make this work. That was very hard enough out for a lot of people who are against it. It's always interesting. And we put a sunset on it. Sunset is not that overwhelming. We got past it. So it's no longer a conversation. That the confidence of the trust is equal to the others. They express the same sort of everything that we do. That has led to things with education bill, Senate Bill 13, last year's bill that requires tribal education and spatial education based on our time. There will be other issues with respect to the bigger general, but the core of this bill is tribes are place-based. There is no place in Oregon. I think people heard this. It's not it. Everybody thinks that there's these reservations, right? Indian country is every place. And I will tell you that when it comes to Omaha Falls, there are tribes that are trying to restore fishing rights. They didn't think they should have lost those in the first place. They risked their lives to go fishing. These were gathering places for all the tribes. And to not acknowledge that, to not understand that all of this is ingrained in the people who have lived here since, as they say, time immemorial. I found out early from when I first became a teacher in Coquille, tribal leaders and I was having a real hard time with one of my students. And I tell the story a lot. He was brilliant and an athlete. It was amazing. And I kept thinking, when I went to high school there weren't a lot of Native kids that graduated. I had a couple of friends that did, but what happened is that middle school that I was student teaching at, there were a lot of tribal kids. And so I talked to the tribal leader and he said, well, you know, your education system was designed to destroy us. And I said, what? What are you talking about? We're trying to help every kid get what they need so they can go off and do what they want, go anywhere they want. He says, yeah, that's what I said. Your system was designed to destroy our tribes. We are place-based. If you train all of our kids to go someplace else, we don't have tribes. And we're very family-oriented, and we're very much about the place we live and where our ancestors are buried. And until you understand that, you can't understand why we see your education system as not helping us. And if you had a place in your education system that said, we're going to make you the best citizens of your tribe you can possibly be. We're going to help you get the knowledge you need to be the leaders in your tribe to maintain what you have here because it's a special place and you are special people within that place. But we don't spend a lot of time doing it. And so it's been my pleasure as a math teacher and others to try to have some of those conversations with some of the kids that I've known over the years, because I think until we really understand what it means to be a sovereign nation within our nation and people who care about the place they live and the ancestors who lived there before, we can't really have real conversations and collaboration. So the other part that I would say is when I first came there, the coastal are just being reestablished. It hadn't been long, because I came in 70. I guess I was 71. So it's been here a long time, and it shocked me that we were restoring tribes. I mean, in Washington, that didn't happen. I found out recently that in Canada in 1954, the same thing happened. They dissolved a number of the tribes in Canada. And it was a shock to me to start learning that and start understanding that pockets of tribal people had stayed together and had tried to maintain their culture even though the government wasn't recognizing them and were ready to come back. Dee's group was the first, and they paved the way for the other tribes. So in Oregon, only 2 of the tribes were always treaty tribes. Most people know the Warm Springs and the Umatillans. The rest of them have all had to figure out how to get themselves restored. And that's crazy. So I will just tell you that for me, the Legislative Commission on Services, when the 9 tribes were there and 1 group from healthcare group out of Portland, we get to have real conversations about the things that can make a difference, and then we get to try to change those with laws. Watching the tribes come back has been inspiring to me, watching the dedication they had, understanding about the Amanda Trail that goes up here, and understanding the fight that these tribes all went through as they were moved by the Army, recognized that Rogue Indian Wars were the second largest Indian wars in this country's history. Every one of the major generals in the Civil War came out here to fight people on the road. They moved them from the Rogue Valley up to Siletz and Grand Ronde. They took all the tribal groups, big battle down at Gold Beach, moved them all up the coast, out of their local places, and brought them over the Hudson Divide and up to these tribes. And many of those people left as soon as they got there to walk back to their home places because they didn't like living in these weird environments. So until you really understand how hard it was to be who they are, it's really hard to understand where they're coming from today. And I respect these leaders as much as anybody I've ever worked with in my life. So again, collaboration is a bigger word than cooperation in law. It's at the beginning of the process, figure out how to engage them in the conversations from the beginning. You know, ODOT and all those kind of stuff, they're driving, they're building roads across the state. Every one of those roads is built over Indian country, and we have laws now that require them to stop if they find things. But we had a situation 2 years ago when if you find an arrowhead, you can pick up one or two of them. It's legal to do that. So there was a person over in the Klamath area who found an arrowhead. And the tribal said, well, we really never had any arrows that would hold a 6-inch arrowhead that weighs about a pound. We didn't have many people that could pull that back and put it on an arrow and shoot it. That's probably a ceremonial knife. And oh no, the arrowhead, that's what I found, and I picked it up. So the court took it. They determined it was an arrowhead. They had to take it. We still have problems with respect to how we go about things. The fact that these tribes all have their own courts, every one of you does now, have their own courts and their own judges to do things within their field is pretty impressive. The fact that on some of their lands, the Coquilles helped build and get the wood for the longhouse that's at the University of Oregon. There are lots of ways they make important contributions to our community. So I am pleased to be here and humbled to be with this group of leaders. So thank you for the question.
Thank you, Arnie. We do have the tradition around here, well, for the last 2 years anyways, since I've been holding one. And I get to answer or ask any question that I want to any one of the panelists. So this year's question goes to Arnie. Because she was the target.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. That's really funny. I thought he was going to pick me. But can I just tag on, I'll just take a couple minutes to what Senator Rowland was just saying.
$10.
Okay. Because that was beautiful for me to hear as he's sitting up here as my representative, as an Oregonian. And I also feel that we've been pretty lucky to get to work with him and Caddy and all the many people that have sat on the Legislative Commission on Indian Services doing amazing work, getting to work with these folks. But some really cool things have happened these last few years, and you named a few of them. Cultural curriculum in Oregon being taught about our tribes is a beautiful thing for us as Indian people. It's education. We know that we have to educate people about those sacred sites and why we want to protect them and why economic development is so important for the tribes. But we keep saying that word self-sufficiency, and we need to talk about it more because it's not something to be afraid of, that the tribes want to be self-sufficient. Sovereign nations means that we want to govern and make decisions for our people, and that also means the land. Please do not take that in the wrong way. And I'm looking to my county commissioners, I'm so happy they're here, and city council members as well, that it really benefits us all to support self-sufficiency of the tribes, to support the projects that the tribes are working on, whether it's gaming or it's something else, whether it's natural resources, or we're trying to manage our forests better, we're going to be here forever. So it's in our best interest to make sure that we do it in the right way and that everybody's with us. It should be something that we're all working on, because when Grand Ronde does something in their community, it benefits us all. It doesn't hurt us. And sometimes I feel like I'm trying to explain to people sovereignty and self-sufficiency and self-governance and those words, and it's almost, it makes people feel like they should be scared, and we shouldn't be scared. It's a good thing, and I think Senator Robles, you've got a really good grasp on the history. It's a hard history to understand for Coquille people, or the others sitting here. But we really do all have to start working together and not against each other.
Yes, Brenda. The last thing that I wanted to say is, before I ask this very hard question to the Senator, is that, and don't take this in the wrong way, it worked for her, that we are, tribal people are here forever. Everybody else can move away. They're transient, but we will all, because we are place-based, there isn't any other place for us to go. This is where all of our history is. So sometimes we look into the future, and not in these 5, 10, 25-year frames, but we look into the future beyond our generation, beyond our lifetimes, to plan for 7, 8, 9 generations ahead. And that's what I truly enjoy about all the tribal people that I have been able to work with, is that seems to be the common thing amongst all of us. All right, so now for the hard-hitting question for Senator Roblin. There is a wrong answer. Who's going to win the Civil War?
So, before I answer that question, I do want to say, you got spurred with some of the questions and things. If you haven't been to the health clinic on the Grand Ronde Reservation, you are missing an opportunity to see some of what Jason just talked about. It's in a circle. They have some amazing artwork up in the ceilings that are hanging down, glass and other things. But from mental health to dentistry to having a baby born, it's all in this. And the people are in the middle. It's an amazing environment. And around it are all these professionals that help take care of the environment. It was, and we could actually talk about it, but it was built to represent the way of life, the way of thinking, and all those other kinds of things. And I had the opportunity to go there at one of their anniversaries, and it was life-changing to see it. We missed a chance when we started talking about CCOs, and we know we did because we had a big battle in the legislature about it. In understanding they've been doing CCO a lot longer than we have, we probably could have learned from them if we talked to them. They know how to provide health care for their people. And we got in a battle with our health department in Ronde. It was crazy. It was absolutely ridiculous. All of these people know that it happened. We really do need to collaborate and talk and recognize that there's some wisdom in the 10,000 years they've been here about our place. We should be asking more. They probably wouldn't build roads where we told them because they said it was going to fall off anyway. So, but we keep doing it anyway. So my question, the answer to that question
that is how you duck.
That's right.
The question.
That's right.
This is also the answer.
The answer is sadly, no. I have degrees from both Oregon State and University of Oregon and the Huskies. So it makes it really easy for me. So it's always hard to know what Civil War he's talking about, right? Because I was a Washington kid. But knowing this Civil War in this place and knowing that Mark Helfrich was one of my old students and the U-boat made me angry with them with that treatment. But that's okay. I still I still believe that the Ducks are going to win. I really love the new quarterback at Oregon, the new coach at Oregon State. Haven't gotten to know the coach as well, but Mr. Smith coming back was really helpful, and I hope that he has a good year.